ripped apart by our greatest strength, our diversity. We have allowed intolerance, insensitivity, bigotry, and nepotism to blind our vision of the greatness we can achieve working together as one. We may not have the same culture, nor religion, nor language, but we all belong to the same nation by the divine will of God. We did not choose to be Nigerians. Nigeria chose us. This nation is our divine heritage, and if we open our eyes, we would realize that what divides us pales in comparison to what unites us. And by the comparison and conciliation of our differences, we will grow until our differences disappear. Our unity cannot be willed by mere declarations, nor do we get unity by ignoring the questions that beg for answers. We must celebrate our diversity and debate our differences without fracturing our unity. Our strength is not in our numbers, but in our unity, because even the weak become strong when united. Nigeria unite. This message is brought to you by Abuja Broadcasting Corporation, owners and operators of ASO Radio 93.5 FM Abuja, ASO Television DSTV Channel 392, Star Times Terrestrial Channel 127, Free TV Channel 507, People's TV Channel 285, and UHF Channel 38.
The welfare of millions of people for generations to come may be affected by the wisdom which we here display. If Nigerian leaders and our British partners are to prove themselves worthy of their trust, now is the time for us solemnly and truly to dedicate ourselves to seeking the greatest good of the greatest number of our people in Nigeria. Independence for Nigeria in 1960 is imperative. But independence for Nigeria as a corporate entity is not enough. The peoples of Nigeria must at the same time be guaranteed their freedom. We must ensure that in an independent Nigeria, individual citizens throughout the land enjoy liberty, human dignity, and equality under the law. There must be one Nigeria with one constitution and one law for all. Let us therefore, Mr. Chairman, sir, close our ears to the counsel of despair, which says that we cannot here at this conference agree on a constitution. If there's any doubt among us as to what should be written into the constitution, let us, as Democrats that we profess ourselves to be, refer such problems, as the goal has done recently, to the people whom we profess to represent, either just before or at the federal elections late in 1959. whose assignment is not only to revive the stature of man in Africa, but to restore the dignity of...
Welcome back from the break. And just before the break, I did inform you that we'll be having Engineer Aliu Ayuba, who is a specialist in metallurgical engineering. And also, at a point, he did his industrial training in this particular location known as Ajaokuta Steel Company. So he understands the workings of this particular steel company or industrial complex. And we would like to hear from him. How can that particular industry be revamped? That's a steel company, Ajaokuta Steel Company in Kogi State. How can it be put into full operation? Engineer, good afternoon and welcome to the afternoon edition.
Good afternoon, sir.
It's nice having you here today live in Abuja, because the last time we spoke it was via Skype, and I understand that yes, the terrain you had, the network was a bit bad.
Yes.
But now let us still continue from where we stopped the last time, and I'll definitely repeat some of the questions so that you can take us aback on how we can make Ajaokuta Steel Company a living place for all Nigerians and sub-Saharan Africa. So generally, what's your take, what's your perception of what Ajaokuta should be now?
Yeah, from the initial plans of the building of the complex, it was designed to have the first phase producing 1.3 million metric tons of a liquid steel. So then the second phase raised to 2.6 million metric tons. Then the third phase will have been 5.2 million metric tons of liquid steel. But unfortunately, there was a problem between the, the funding was what stopped the project. But it reached 98%. Even if you go to their website today, you find out this posted it there, it reached 98%. That is the installation of all the equipment. It has reached 98%. What is left for the 100% to be completed? You know, the first phase, which is that 1.3 million metric tons of liquid steel that will be produced, it is designed that 1.3 million metric tons should be for production of rails, I-bars, angle bar, U-bar, and I-bar. That will be produced at the medium section and structural mill. That medium section and structural mill has the capacity, as I said in the last conversation, that it has the capacity of producing steel of 600,000 metric tons per annum. And I said, if you multiply, we have 1,000 kg in 1 ton. 600,000 tons means 600 million kg of steel that can be produced there in that rolling mill. As I said, that rolling mill alone has the capacity of producing the rails. That is rail for rail network of the country. Rail, I-bar, angle bar, U-bar. So it has that capacity. So if we dedicate that rolling mill alone to be focused on production of rail, as I said, 600, that is 600 million kg, and one rail weigh 780 kg. If we divide this 600 million kg by 780, whatever you have, if you do your mathematics, whatever you have, then that is the numbers of rails that can be produced in that rolling mill. Then, what is the length of one rail? A rail measures 12 meters. So if you now divide, do your mathematics, at the end of the day, you find out since you lay it two side by side, rails are laid side by side. So if you do your mathematics, you find out that in 1 year, you produce 4,000 a rail that will network 4,300 kilometers of a rail network across the country. And you know, the project that is ongoing on that rail from Port Harcourt to Madinguri is about 2,000 kilometers. Then, as I discussed in that last conversation we had, I said if you will network that of Port Harcourt to Madinguri, 2,000 kilometers, Itape to Abuja, maybe it's around 200 kilometers. Then, thank God we have that of Abuja to Kaduna is already completed. It's just to network from Kaduna to Kano.
Kano, which is almost also completed.
Then Kano to Maradi.
Maradi, yes.
Maradi. Then Madunguri, from that Madunguri to Kano, it may be around 400 to 600, between 400 to 600 kilometers. Then from Ibadan to maybe Zaria, Kaduna, by the time you do your mathematics, maybe around, it might not be up to 1,000 kilometers. So at the end of the day, for 1 year, you are almost done. Then for 3 years, if you do your mathematics, it's 14 point something, 100, it will be 14,000 kilometers rail network. 14,000 kilometer rail network. If you do this mathematics, because I've just given you the figures, if you do your mathematics, you find out that within 3 years, you'll be able to have 14,000 kilometer network of rail. So, railways across the federation. So what do we need? If you're talking of infrastructure, if you can do this, then the question you ask me is about, is it just the rail? You know, we have sleepers. That method, that bridge the two, is called sleepers. That is the second phase will be, had it been the project between TPE, had it been the completed, because the last phase of their work was the production of the flash sheet steel rolling mill. So had it been that one is completed, then you will have been doing that. But meanwhile, there is still a solution. There is we can still roll, do sheet rolling by configuration of the stand. That's what you call stand. Where each stand in a rolling mill, stand has grooves. For that is if you are rolling billets to produce any of these eye bar, any of these structures I've talked about. If you are using, if you are producing, if you are rolling them, it is the stand that it passes through. The stand that it passes through has grooves. The first groove will contain the billets. The second groove, it will pass through, it will be smaller. That's how it reduces until you have either your rolling rods, any of those things you are producing. At the end, what you come out is that shape you want to produce. But all you know just needs to do now, we have billet mill. That billet mill is attached to the steel making shop. From there, the billets are produced. Then this billet produced will be served to all the rolling mills we are talking about. We have 3 rolling mills in Ajaokuta Steel Company. One is what I've just discussed about. The other 2 rolling mills, we have the wire rods and light section mill. Okay, before you go into the details of those 2, you've mentioned earlier that this particular complex is 98% completed. So what is left of all this? And how do you think, because now we have a new leadership, and then the minister is also from the state, Kogi State, who is Prince Shaibu Audu. And before now, people have always said that there is a politics behind it. But now that you guys have a minister from the state that is also interested in this particular issue, how do you see the possibility of them bridging the gap of this 2% left? Yes, the 2% left needs to be understood. Because before almost every structures have been installed. What was left then is the dredging of River Niger. And then the rail networking, the rail from Ajaokuta Steel Company to on a port, so that for easy conveyance of goods in and out of the complex. Because by rail alone might not be enough. That is why the dredging of River Niger is very essential. So that we know it has a river port, and that is exactly one of the reasons why the complex is sited at the river bank. One reason for easy conveyance of goods in and out of the complex. Second reason for cooling system, because everything, you know, production of steel, that is, you turn something, stones to liquid, it's a very high temperature. It needs cooling system. It needs a lot of water. That is why it is sited close to the river bank. So these are the two major reasons. What was left then is to dredge the River Niger to on a port for easy conveyance. That's the major thing that was left. Then there's a misconception. That's why we need to at least educate the public. The steel complex is new, brand new. Everything is new there, except there is vandalization. That is when you say, okay, this thing has been vandalized, it needs to be replaced.
So, but this steel complex, the idea behind it, let me say the implementation of the work there started, I think, in the 70s, isn't it?
Yes.
But at this particular point in time, do you think those materials will still be new because they are metals? And then talk about wear and tears of these particular machines there.
Yeah. There are the only things that I know that might need some replacements. Those that were in use, like thermal power plants. The thermal power plant has the capacity of producing 5.5 metric kilowatt of electricity. Then there are two. By the time the two works together, they produce 11 kV of electricity. So these two plants were alternating. They produce electricity because the complex has its own thermal power plants generating electricity for itself. It doesn't need national grid, except that it even gives the national grid. So that it was in use since inception until it breaks down at a point in time. That needs to be revived. This, I know, was in use. The other section that was in use was the time that the concession did to Indian company, whereby they started using the wire rods mill and the light section mill. They started using, you know, those wire rod and the light section mills. They both have two lines. Everything was in pair. So the Russian company produced everything they installed. They were in pairs. So that if one has problem, shift to the other, production continue, because it is 24/7 production. So that light section mills and wire rod, they were the ones that was used. And then the other part that I know that might have to be looked into is that of the machines and tool workshops. Machines and tool workshops, they were in use. They started production. Then foundry workshop too, they were producing. So that foundry workshop, there's not much to be done there. But you see, the blast furnace is brand new. The stove, the steel making shop, that is the basic oxygen converter, where steel is produced. The pig iron that is produced in the blast furnace will be taken to the steel making shop, where it is treated in the basic oxygen converter. From there, when you have gotten the right properties you want of the kind of the steel you want to produce,
yes,
then you start casting and start other things. So why are you asked of then that of the slippers I talked about?
Yes, yes.
I said there is an option. The option we have, the stance. The stance is what will change if we have to produce flat sheets. Yes, temporarily, we may stop one of the 2 rolling mills I just talked about.
It will not have impact on the general production?
It will, but what I'm talking about is the light section mill and the wire rod.
Wire rod, okay.
We may just temporarily convert them, change the stance, start the heat. We use ingots instead of a billet, so to roll there and produce a flat sheet. From this flat sheet, there will start temporarily light ones, so that we just have we produce the slippers, so that the rails can be networked. That's a temporary solution before the flat sheet rolling mill is installed.
You've done so much from this conversation, and that I'm very, very happy, because it shows how you understand how the system works, which is very, very critical. But in this particular phase, because it has always been about how can Nigeria actually benefit from this? And I remember just, was it yesterday or a day before yesterday, the minister was saying that it will take roughly about 2 to 5 billion naira or dollar. I can't really figure that out. Dollars now to make that side work maximally. Do we have that funds to see that we can push it into that particular factory?
No, it doesn't require that. Honestly, it doesn't require that amount. But we had a memorandum of understanding with Russia Federation. Our president Muhammadu Buhari in October 18, our former president Muhammadu Buhari in 2019, October 2019, went to Russia and had a roundtable memorandum of understanding with our diplomats and their diplomats, with the president, their president, and our president sitting in a roundtable. They have that understanding, and they arrive at what? $1.45 billion. And the Nigerian government is a counterpart funding, whereby Nigerian government was to contribute $1 billion, while the Russian Federation will bring $450 million. That agreement is still there. It is, I mean, how did they arrive at that $1.5 billion? You understand? The revival of the Ajaokuta Steel Company and that of Itape, because Itape Iron Ore Mining Company, it needs some repair, especially the primary crusher. It got broke down. It was broken down by the Indian company that was running it there. And they did not.
How far is it from the Ajaokuta Steel Company?
It's 60 kilometers, and it has been networked.
Okay, by rail?
Yes. Whatever the iron ore concentrate produced in Itape will be transported to the complex, Ajaokuta Steel Complex, by rail. From there, the sintering plant will convert it to sinters and be fed into the blast furnace. And then we have the line plant, have the coke oven. So the line plant produces produces a lime, that is calcium oxide, from the limestone, which is calcium carbonate or dolomite. And we have them in abundance. So then that of the coke oven, our coke oven is a very large one. It has 2 batteries. So each of the batteries has 449 oven.
Okay.
49 ovens. So the coke oven is ready. The problem we're having, and we still need to let our general public know about the problem we're having. We have limestone in abundance. We have iron ore in abundance. The deposit in Itape is 300 million metric tons, which will take us, and the Ajaokuta Steel Company complex is consuming about 2.1 million metric tons of iron ore concentrate per annum. So in general, that means it will take us about 100 plus, over 100 years plus. So now, the problem that we have in the material, in the resources, in the mineral resources, is just one. We have iron ore. Out of the three major raw materials for producing steel: iron ore, limestone, and coke, which is coal. So the coal is cooked to become coke. That is what in metallurgy we call it coking. Which the technology behind it is that we heat the coal in the absence of air to produce coke. So in order to remove impurities and other things from it, then we now use what is left is coke, and its soil is good. So it produces, it doesn't produce ash. The metallurgical coke is the problem we're having. We don't have metallurgical coal in Nigeria.
Okay.
So we have to import. And during that survey, that the research done by the TPE and that of the Nigerian Steel Authority, Development Authority, then it came out with a resolution that, okay, fine. They came out after the research, they come out with a resolution that, okay, they will be importing 70% of coke, of coal, and then blend it with 30% of our local own. Because our local coal has so much sulfur and phosphorus.
So with this now that you've stated,
there are countries like Japan that doesn't have any of these three materials, but they import all of them and produce steel.
Okay, because you've stated so much, and I would like us to just go on a very short break. There are so many questions that are left, and we expect you to definitely respond to them accordingly, because we really have to understand why we are finding very difficult to really see that, yes, we have a functional Ajaokuta Steel Company. And I remember at a point, you did also stated that if this company is put into full action, Nigerians will generate beyond their expectation. So we'll go on a very short break now, and when we return back, we will still continue the conversation with Engineer Aliyu Ayuba, a lecturer of metallurgical engineer and expert in that field, and someone who has a ground understanding of what Ajaokuta Steel Company is all about.
We are a nation blessed with people of diverse cultures, religions, languages, and opinions. It is ironic that we are now being ripped apart by our greatest strength, our diversity. We have allowed intolerance, insensitivity, bigotry, and nepotism to blind our vision of the greatness we can achieve working together as one. We may not have the same culture, nor religion, nor language, but we all belong to the same nation by the divine will of God. We did not choose to be Nigerians. Nigeria chose us. This nation is our divine heritage, and if we open our eyes, we would realize that what divides us pales in comparison to what unites us. And by the comparison and conciliation of our differences, we will grow until our differences disappear. Our unity cannot be willed by mere declarations, nor do we get unity by ignoring the questions that beg for answers. We must celebrate our diversity and debate our differences without fracturing our unity. Our strength is not in our numbers, but in our unity, because even the weak become strong when united. Nigeria unite.
This message is brought to you by Abuja Broadcasting Corporation, owners and operators of ASO Radio 93.5 FM Abuja, ASO Television DSTV Channel 392, Star Times Terrestrial Channel 127, Free TV Channel 507, People's TV Channel 285, and UHF Channel 38.
Welcome back from the break. And just before the break, I did inform you that we are still having Engineer Aliu Ayuba, a lecturer in Metallurgical Engineering Department of Nigerian Army University, BU, and also he was a graduate of Ahmadu Bello University. So, Engineer, you've stated so much with respect to the challenges, what is actually keeping it back. And you've also raised a critical issue, of which I know the late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua started, the issue of dredging of the River Niger.
Yeah.
For now, we've not seen any major activities happening along that route. But then let us look beyond and let us see, what do you think are the possible solutions and benefits we can get from this particular steel company?
Yeah. First of all, that dredging of River Niger you just made mention of. If we dredge the River Niger to Onne Port, one, automatically we'll have a river port in Lokoja. Then Onitsha river port will wake up. Then the Onne Port, more busy than the economy of that place will boost. So it's of a big economy to the nation for us to dredge that River Niger. And as I said, the 2% they were talking about is the next phase was for us to dredge the River Niger. And the government then was not was not funded this project. Then the economic value of is a chain where everything from the steel company has value. Is it the slag, which is supposed to be waste? It has value. Ammonium phosphate can be gotten from it. So many things, like they can use it for fertilizer. What about the tar, the coal tar that will come out of the coal coke oven? It can be used for road construction. So many things. So it's of big. Initially, if the company starts, kickstarts, and the production starts, they are going to employ nothing less than 10,000 workers, manpower. Then, when the companies that will come, I do wonder, Nigerian government will be going outside the country, looking for investors to come and invest when they have not prepared their home. If you are telling a Toyota manufacturing company to come and establish in Nigeria, so if such a company is coming to Nigeria to establish, so you also come with steel to produce his car, it's not fair. How can he come? If you are in their shoe, will you do that? You won't. If you are inviting a heavy-duty machines company, manufacturing company, like producing tractors or bulldozers or that, you want them to come to and start, they will come. But if you put your steel industry into production phase, definitely they will be the one to come and apply for investment. It's not you going there. They will come and beg you that they want to come and invest. By then, you give them condition of their investments. But if you are the one running to them to come and invest, then they will give you some kind of flimsy exit. They will still not come. You spend your money going there, come back, you won't still achieve anything. The money you spend in going there, come back, gather more money, join it together, raise this $1 billion, call the Russia to come.
Why the Russia? Because there are several.
They are the people that constructed the company. They are the one that established. They are the one that install all the structures there. They know it better than any other person. They have their own technology, and they won't let it go to any. They won't let it open to everybody. But fortunately, we are so lucky that they like us. They want us to grow. So, and the solution is the next thing now. What do we do to revive this company? We have gone to Russia. They've told us from their own, from the agreement we had with them, $1.45 billion. Then we have to raise our own. Go back to this Afri-Exim Bank that promised to give us, that will promise to go and borrow the money from. We should go back there. That's number one option. If we cannot get money from there because we have owned so many people, then let's find an alternative. The next alternative is that, okay, we have Nigerians that can even give us this $1 billion as a loan. How many Nigerians has flying private jets? And what does it cost to buy one private jet? Whoever has private jet in this country, government should forget about their pride and approach them. We have so projects. Borrow us so money. Whoever has private jet and can maintain it can borrow this country $10 million. I'm telling you this. Can borrow Nigeria $10 million. We have a lot of them. Approach them. Let's see how we can raise the money and go back and go to the Russians and let them come and complete it. We know there is an international politics these days, whereby the Russians and the West are at loggerheads, and we are pro-West. The other way around, that's another option. I've given two options now. The third option is just like we have two uncles. I'm sorry for giving this.
Yes.
So we have two uncles. One uncle, every time we go to him, Uncle, my family is hungry. This month, I don't know what to give them. Please help me with money to feed them. So, okay, I'll give you money. But you see that's your resources. I will take out of it that will be equivalent of the money I have borrowed you. So, okay, give me, thank you. Come and take it. They come and take. Then we have another uncle. That uncle, we run to him. My family is hungry. So this one said, I have tried to make you self-sustenance, but you refuse to. You have not done anything. That machines I have given you to process your minerals and to finish goods. What I can do for you, I've helped you. What I can do for you now is to come and revive it for you. Then I'll put my resources, but you must also put your resources so that you know that you need to take care of it. This is the Russians. So, okay, now what do? We don't have the money, our own contribution to make, we don't have it. But that our uncle that we used to borrow money from every month to feed our family, let us use diplomacy now. Let's go to that uncle. Uncle, my family is hungry again now. I need $1 billion. I don't mind. You can come and take the normal resources you used to take. He will give us. Let the family hungry for that month. Take that money. So give this uncle.
Well,
I have gotten mine.
But the question here is, despite the fact we just have just 2 minutes left on the program, the question here is that if they will come and take whatsoever they want, sometimes if you consider what they take, you discover that it is even bigger than the money they are giving you. But then that's just by the way. If you are to meet the president now or the Minister of Steel and Development, what would be your final advice you give them to see that, yes, it piques their attention and then it gives them the light to make sure that that particular place comes to life? Just in 1 minute, 30 seconds.
The advice is that there is a forensic auditing that's supposed to be taken. In that agreement, it's part of it, that the MOU we had with Russia. And it has not been done. And we are coming with different figures. Have we done the audit? Call the experts to come. Then, in collaboration with our own experts, we go in there, you see what is there, then what is left to be done. It might not even reach that $1.45 billion. And that of it might not reach, because the auditing has not been done. So let's do that on time, within the shortest time. and know exactly what we need to spend. And then whatever it costs the federal government to do it, they should do it, so that the issue of importing steels into the country, it will never solve our problem when we are trying to diversify our economy. Okay. Because sometimes this minister for iron and steel then said we are importing 3 trillion naira worth of 3 trillion naira worth of iron and steel products into the country. So if we can make our own working,
Thank you so much, Engineer Aliu Ayuba, for coming on the program. It's nice having you. I'm always happy whenever I see the passion in you whenever you discuss the issue of the Ajaokuta Steel Company. And definitely, I believe that those in authority are watching, and they will definitely stick to it. Some of the suggestions you've made, and maybe in time, who knows, they may likely call you to come and partake in some of these activities. And we hope and we pray that, yes, we get the best out of the Ajaokuta Steel Company. This is how far we can go today on the afternoon edition. My name is Isa No. You've listened to Engineer Aliu Ayuba on the issue of revitalizing the Ajaokuta Steel Company. Have a wonderful day and stay blessed.